I want to do a quick show description so you'll see what you're looking at. You can see through the props and through the visual design, this whole show is centered around the theme of time and what time means. You'll see a coordination between the guard uniforms, the blues on the field, the blues within the props to bring a cohesiveness to our show design. Time is our show. Our show is called Make the Most of Our Time. What it does is it takes us on a journey from our first movement to our last movement. The first movement is called the race against time. It also represents man in its youth. As you spend your time, you don't know that you're wasting your time when you're young, but you're chasing in the pursuit in a rat race, just trying to get something, and you don't really know what's valuable and what's not, but you're working so hard. And that's what the first movement represents, the race against time. Musically, it's represented by Dmitri Shostakovich because I wanted something exciting, angular, and very, I wanted it to sound like with a lot of angst. The second movement is called Never Enough Time, and it is represented by Rachmaninoff's variations on Paganini number 18. And when I call it Never Enough Time, it's because it takes either tragedy or age to realize and how to use your time most effectively. The quote that we use is from Steve Jobs once he found out that he had pancreatic cancer. And he's quoted saying that you don't realize what time is until it's limited or finite. And that's the point of the second movement. It's not necessarily meant to be sad, but certainly it's reflective, and you're making the most of your time. The third movement is Pictures at an Exhibition, and it's called Running Out of Time. And you'll hear TikToks and all kinds of things, or you're trying to make, now that you know that your time is limited, as you age, you begin to try to make the time that you have left, make it more meaningful. And then we finally end with The Great Gate of Kiev from Pictures at an Exhibition, and that's called The Most of Your Time. I start out with everything kind of negative, so you'll hear sounds representing negative headlines, and that's the template of, on the backdrop of time itself, I see time as a canvas upon which events occur. And I want the arc of the show to go from negative to positive. So it ends with positive quotes from people, Americans specifically, who have made the most of their time. So you'll hear at the end all of the inspirational quotes of those people who have made the most of their time. I use Russian music because rushing, I'm using a double entendre, rush, like as I'm in a rush. Some people get it, some people don't. But I hope that you guys like it. I hope that you enjoy the layers. I hope that you enjoy the movement, the sophistication. I hope that you enjoy all of the skills that they have been on display for all season. Thank you guys so very much, and I hope you enjoy the most of our time.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your entertainment, the Lassiter High School Marching Trojan Band. The 2017 Lassiter Marching Trojan Band promises to carry on the tradition of excellence established by the band program throughout the years. Tonight's performance will include chapters 1 through 4 from this year's show entitled The Most of Our Time by Russian composer Modest Mussorgsky. It features the music of Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody number 18 from chapter 2 and Pictures at an Exhibition from chapter 4. Under the field direction of drum majors Lester DeWalt, Parker Franklin, Raymond Strasser, and Justin Todd, here is the 2017 Lassiter High School Marching Trojan Band.
Welcome back. We continue to follow the developments coming out of London, the terror attack.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports that
Time is the canvas upon which destiny unfolds. There is a context for both triumph and tragedy. Ever persistent, ever present. In our youth, it is often wasted in pursuit of the fullest. So let the race begin.
trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
As our nation enjoyed at once so much prosperity and social promise, and so